Let me start by saying I stan Dreamworks like a f***ing scarecrow, but even I can't forgive what they did to my boy, and even worse, what they did to our boy. It's a cheap cash grab nostalgia fest that ruins all the incredible villains that came previously, introduced uninteresting tomboy fox furry bait way too late into the story, and reuses one of Poe's character arcs from the previous movie. Spoiler alert, but the Tai Lung we saw in the trailers isn't actually Tai Lung. It's a sorceress using his soul because she's a shapeshifter, and is angry because she's short, or something. It's not all bad. I think the buddy cop subplot with Poe's dads is kind of fun, although overall pointless. Doesn't really change anything for Poe. I mean, they tell him change isn't bad and everything, which helps him accept his role as a leader, but I'll get to all that. Anyway, it's no secret this film was just a mess with no real direction, and there's a few reasons for that. The villain probably being the main culprit. Tai Lung was an international threat. Shen and Kai both committed genocide, but Chameleon, we don't see her really do anything until the final act. She bullies around a couple gang leaders or something, but I mean, Poe does that shit practically every day. Before this quest, I don't think anybody had even heard of her. Poe doesn't know who she is anyway. Then when she finally does start dispatching some of our beloved villains, the only one who really has any dialogue is Tai Lung, just so they could justify putting him in the marketing. Plus, they go on to act completely out of character at the end just for the sake of a peaceful resolution. Don't even get me started on her stupid fucking motivation. Yeah, I wasn't joking. It's literally just because she was too small to do kung fu. But I think most people already know that and have memed it to shit. I want to talk about Poe and his stagnation as a character. You see, his main character arc for the movie is struggling to come to terms with not being the Dragon Warrior anymore, as it's now time for him to choose a successor and take on more of a mentoring role. But Poe likes being the Dragon Warrior and likes going on adventures and food and fighting and being famous and blah blah blah. We already know all of that. We also already know that Poe's a good leader. He's shown to be leading the Furious Five since the second movie, and the entire plot of the third movie is him learning to become a teacher and turn his fellow pandas into warriors. And it's not just physical skills, since he also taught them how to use their chi. So, like I said, it really feels like they just ripped the same story arc and slapped it into a clunkier setting. Alright, I think my British urge to complain is satiated for now, so it's time to finally talk about the actual solution. As mentioned, Poe's goal in the fourth movie is to find a successor. And by the end of it, he picks the fox, which for reasons I've already mentioned, just feels flat and downright disrespectful to the other characters. I don't think the idea of picking a successor is a bad one. It could have been interesting if executed correctly, but the story of Kung Fu Panda 1 was about Poe overcoming his self-sabotaging ways, letting go of his doubt, and finding the secret ingredient. It would make a lot more sense for Poe to choose someone he can relate to, who's also very self-sabotaging, filled with doubt, and needs to find their own secret ingredient. Have you figured it out yet? Something Poe has never really tried to do is talk no jutsu, which, don't get me wrong, thank fuck, but what I mean is, he's never redeemed anyone, and never really cared to try. You can argue he kind of tried with Shen, but it really wasn't a focus. Poe is obviously very content to just keep beating up and straight murdering evildoers forever. If they don't go to jail, they go to the fucking Shadow Realm. However, his new role as the spiritual leader and head monk probably doesn't allow for too much of that. So, the natural progression is learning to resolve things peacefully. The movie tries to say that Poe redeemed Jen, but let's be honest, she never felt anything more than chaotic neutral. So we've got 4 pieces of the puzzle. We need the new successor to be a good contrast to Poe's original self, someone who feels fleshed out and earned rather than a last-minute random addition, someone who will also challenge Poe as a teacher and mentor, and finally, someone who's established as a bad egg. Gee, it sure is a shame we don't have anybody who fits all those criteria.
I have come home, Master.
Tai Lung would be the perfect successor to the Dragon Warrior title. Think about how much more interesting of a choice that is. It opens up so many new narrative paths with the Furious Five, Shifu, Po, the civilians of the valley, Tai Lung himself. The alley-oop was right there too, with multiple characters having come back from the dead now, so it's not even a leap in logic. Just picture it. Chameleon is defeated, and rather than going back willingly, because that's fucking stupid, the villains are all sucked back into the spirit world now that their tether has been severed. Kai, having the only experience of coming back himself, turns the chameleon into one of those little charm things, stealing her chi and using it to stay, readying himself for another battle with Po. Tai Lung, having his own unfinished business, steals the charm from Kai, kicking him back into the spirit world. The Furious Five get ready to fight, especially Tigress, who's eager to see if it plays out like it did last time. One of the best fight scenes in history, by the way. But Po stops them. Tai Lung is ready to fight him, but something's not right. His heart's just not in it. Before Tai Lung was killed, his whole worldview shattered in front of him for the second time in his life. He doesn't know what to think anymore. Even if he beats the Five and Po, then what? He already had the scroll, and it did nothing for him. He was still angry, still insecure, still missing the secret ingredient. Sounds kind of familiar, doesn't it? Po goads on Tai Lung while verbally exchanging. Maybe all Tai Lung really needs is just to prove he's better. Po insists the Five leave them at it. Eventually, after a small back and forth, Po yields. Tai Lung stops but still isn't satisfied. He breaks down. He's not the Dragon Warrior, he's better. He's beaten death. He's Tai Lung. So why is he still so angry? Po offers him the staff, much to the dismay of the Five. Tai Lung is baffled. He shifts from left to right, but the staff follows him.
It's okay, I didn't get it the first time either. What?
Boom! Cinema! God, I'm so fucking good at this! Not only is that a much more satisfying conclusion than whatever the fuck this is, not only is it way more true to all of the characters involved, not only does it allow natural progression into future films and character arcs, not only does it make more sense in relation to Po's current arc about change and his talk with his fathers, not only does it open up the possibility of a guilt arc with Po depthening his character, but you also get that nostalgia factor that they obviously thought would carry this film so hard in the first place. I'm not saying it's perfect. There still would have been a lot of glaring problems with the movie that this plot point does not address. But please, guys, let me know. Am I on actual fucking class A drugs right now? Or does this sound as cool to everyone else as it does to me? Thanks for watching, and also tell me of any other topics you'd like my take on, any other films you want me to fix. I'm kind of running out of video essay ideas, and I've recently found some really cool creators who have inspired me to focus a lot more on my essay content, so I need stuff.